Welcome to the Woodpreneur podcast, the number one podcast for the business and marketing side of the lumber, woodworking, hardwood flooring, and sawmill industry. I'm your host, Steve from Acres of Timber. Each week, we feature various wood business owners and entrepreneurs from around the globe. We share their stories, paths, insights so that you can network, learn, and grow your own wood business. Thank you so much for listening. Now enjoy the episode. Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of the Woodpreneur podcast. This is your host, Steve Lauroziliere. Today's guest is David Vincenzi from Amelia Cabinet Company. How you doing, David?
Hey, Steve, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm well, thank you. Hey, why don't you tell us the backstory behind Amelia Cabinet Company? How'd you come to be?
Sure. So my father is an architect, and about 30 years ago, he decided he wanted to specialize in cabinetry and the retail side of things. So he had a retail showroom selling different forms and lines of cabinetry. As I grew up in the business with him. I learned a lot, worked as an installer for him in various different jobs. I learned that I wanted to get more involved with the manufacturing side of things, and we partnered with a company who actually manufacture all our own product line. And we did that for a number of years. And then when the 2007 financial crisis began, we had to make some changes, and it was no longer able to sub everything out like that. We had to bring some things to in-house more where we could control the margins and control the overall quality, because we found oftentimes we were repairing a lot of pieces that came to us. And when you start spending, infinite amount of time doing so, you might as well build it yourself in the first place. So the recession was, sort of the push in that direction, so to speak. And I then went to college. I graduated in 2012, and when I graduated, I went full on in the company and hit the ground running.
That's awesome. And then before we hopped on, if you don't mind, you want to give the story behind the name?
Of course. So the name is very important to us. Named after my younger sister, Amelia. She actually had a rare autoimmune disorder. She was found, they believe she was born with it, but discovered it by the time she was 4 years old. And she had dealt with it for roughly 17 years. 2013, we unfortunately lost her. I was her bone marrow donor. It was supposed to be kind of the cure-all and get her back on her feet, and things just didn't work out. And since I don't really have the gut and the stomach to dedicate my life to the medical industry, I said, you know what I can do is do what I can do with my hands. And when I have opportunities to give back and honor those such as herself, I do.
That's really beautiful. And as someone who lost somebody special, you have to always remember their name. You have to say their name. And I bet it's like like bittersweet that like she's no longer here, but you get to like honor her and live through her every day through this business, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult thing, and there's no right justification toward it. But when we can put her name upon a product that we take pride in and have customers, clients from all over the world who enjoy our products and love being with them, and see our truck or see our whatever it may be an advertisement, say thinking of you guys and just love our kitchen and how much the experience meant to us, and it's just a tremendous way to tell her story and carry her legacy on.
That's awesome. So tell us, what's the main product service that you provide?
So we do a little bit of everything. We have a showroom, we have a manufacturing facility, we have a full design team and staff. Our bread and butter are kitchens, but we do get involved in bathrooms, libraries, built-ins, various different ends of millwork side of things. But generally comes back down to the kitchens, and with our specialty being in inset all wood cabinetry.
And what, as the owner founder, what is your role? Like, how do you handle the day to day?
Oh man, role changes every day. We all know where all everything has to come from, but we know how it goes. So I am, boots on, involved in the shop, overseeing everything, building with the guys. I'm out there in the field, checking on the installers, making sure that everything is going to plan. We're all on the, same goal orientation in mind, and understanding that putting our clients and our quality number one and working everything off of there. I also do, quite a bit of the online and the marketing sort of overseeing of things, as well as pushing the brand, maybe I guess towards where I'd want it to go. And I deal with some of the day-to-day phone calls, emails. My wife, Melanie, she's also a designer. She's involved in the business, so it's super helpful. She draws everything by hand. She also drafts in the computer as well. One of our unique qualities is we do have that still pen to paper, feel. So when you sit down and really review our drawings and our concepts with you, it's very intimate as far as, the line weight. Everything's an expression of what our discussions were. It's more of an artistic take.
For sure, for sure. How do you get the customers? I mean, you've been around for how many years in this form?
So,
Since
yeah, manufacturing our own line since 2007. I took over everything in 2012. We do have a lot of word of mouth clients that, have been great clients. We're from a small town in Connecticut, but it's a bed and breakfast kind of community where a lot of New York folks have their homes, but a lot of old time folks here as well. But in more recent years, I found that there's great value to things like Instagram and on top of the website. I pushed the website
yeah,
years ago with my father, and he, is kind of an old dog trying to teach you a trick to. So he's like, what do we need a website for? And
what do we
hey,
need a website for? Yeah,
yeah, I mean, you got
what
to
do we need a
appreciate that.
storefront for? Yeah,
Ah,
what
that's it. Why do you want to drive a truck? We got a
all
horse
my
out back.
business is in my phone. I get the people call me, and then that's it. Like that's all.
That's it. What do we need anything else for? You got the yellow pages.
What do we need anything else? Why complicate? Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
it. Yeah,
That's funny.
less is more, kind of our saying with everything, in terms of design. But you got to evolve. Otherwise, you're like the dinosaurs, man. If they're not evolving, you're going the wrong direction.
Do you find is your father still involved?
He is still involved. He's very opinionated, so we pick and choose
Yeah,
on
yeah,
projects that he'd be involved in. But I definitely appreciate and value his feedback and his
yeah.
expertise in certain things. It's just you got to get him over that kind of hump of I remember proposing years ago that, hey, Dad, I'm going to go buy a CNC for the shop because it makes so much sense, and
Yeah, yeah.
the quality is there every
You don't
time.
you don't have to cut on a table saw anymore, by the way. Like
No, yeah, yeah, you don't need four table saws to do that job anymore. It's all
yeah,
self-contained to the thousandths of an inch. So you're trying to explain that to an old cat like that. But after he saw that thing
yeah,
hooked
yeah,
up and
yeah.
running, he gets it.
Yeah, yeah. What how do you stay ahead like personally, professionally? Like how do you stay ahead in this industry? And it's changing too, right? Because like
Yeah,
you're the younger generation of a generation that's like phasing out. They're like your dad's
totally,
age. Like
totally.
how are you approaching this? Like it's is literally a dying profession, right?
Oh,
Like
100%. I mean, a lot of these guys, I have a lot of older friends in the industry, and they're all retiring. There's only so much they can do. There's only so much left in them. They're 70s, 80s years old, so there's not many younger
hmm
people. So being that the company is built around kind of a younger next generation, I feel though is a huge advantage to us. We have a big leg up on the next, so to speak, generation to come. So we are
hmm
continuing to not only innovate with the technology, we understand the value in things like the computer, we understand the value of things like social media, but also have a great appreciation for the old world craftsmanship and why things were built the way they were. So when you can kind of integrate the two of them and find these new leads and new clients online, it just was kind of a home run for me.
And the neighborhood, the community that you're in, they appreciate high quality craftsmanship, right?
Definitely. Yeah, that's kind of the go-to. Our clients expect it. They appreciate it. It's sort of like that old pair of jeans that they're like just fit so perfect and so comfortable. Your product might get a little weathered along the way, but it's the appreciation the clients have for it that they want to live with it and grow with it over the course of years. It's not something they're just going to throw away. It's built to last.
Have you because I'm sure if you're around there's other people like you. Have you thought about what your unique differentiation is between you and other people, or like how are you bringing your own flavor to your field and to your clients?
That's an excellent question. I mean, you can look at that from a million different angles and whatnot. I mean, not only am I, quite a bit younger and in the industry to be learning all these old world trades and whatnot, but branching a lot of different technologies into this, as well as even the integration of technologies and componentry in the cabinetry, and the ability to reach the audience is I think if I answered the question correctly, it would be sort of in that realm of reason. You know.
Yeah, yeah. What? What's been exciting you about since in the past couple of years? Like what trends have you been excited about, or product and service wise in cabinet making?
That's so I've been really excited the past few years about more of the English style and cabinetry itself. We've had this shaker look for many years, and one day kind of a
Hmm.
light bulb went off and said, you know what? If we just alter, very few things in the soup that we were already creating, we're gonna nail this whole sort of industry and this whole look that everybody desires. And it's not, it's very simple, but once you hit the simple details, I mean, you've got it going on,
Yeah, yeah,
but always trying to
um,
perfect.
for sure. Yeah, and the work is really, really beautiful.
Oh,
And it's
thanks,
I
man.
could see that you could probably get very clients allow you to get creative as opposed to
Yeah.
doing cookie cutter type of
Yep.
things, right?
Yeah. So that's kind of another fun area, and sort of the path we've taken is, once you've gained their trust, once they understand your portfolio and see your design and your creations, a lot of people let you take
Hmm.
the reins and they say, this is what I'm thinking. This is kind of what I'd like. And then when you start designing, they let you go ahead, which is, it's awesome. It's so much more fun than saying, hey, I'm just looking for this white kitchen that looks like everybody else's. It's a lot. It brings a lot of personality into it and makes it yours, makes it unique.
Yeah, yeah,
Also allows for like a more intimate, I'd say, relationship with the client when in regards to design.
yeah, yeah. Um, what? Oh, how big is your team? Describe your team.
So we have five of us. They're full time with us all the time. Always
Uh-huh.
could use bigger, better, more. I'm always apprehensive to do that because I did live through that 2007 crisis, and I saw what it did
Yeah,
to my father's side of the company. And I said, you know what, trim fat where fat is to be trimmed, but you also have, I'm not afraid to fail. I'm take a chance where a chance is worth taking.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. A lot of times too. It's like if you are not afraid to take the chance and take more risks, you'll actually realize that there's little competition.
True. Yeah. I mean, there's
You know
not
what I
many.
mean? Like, because
Totally.
everybody's playing it safe. That
Yeah.
the competition is actually when you play a little bit bigger. I mean, what does this year look like for you?
As far as this coming year, 2024, this we're in now, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The year's looking good. We're keeping busy. I'm always trying to create, I guess I always struggle myself with, not necessarily mediocrity. Not it's like a comfort level where like I have a comfortable amount of sales, and it's like when do you make that next push to say like I'm gonna really send it here, and I'm just gonna take as many sales as I can get, and then figure out the team when I need to hire more guys and bring them in. I mean, I have friends around the industry, but I never want to, overdo myself in that end. That's the one risk area I should maybe take more of.
Do you get most of your clients from contractors, GCs, designers, architects?
It's a big mixture. So I do have, a handful of architects and designers that I work with often on a daily basis. And then I do have,
Mm-hmm.
quite a few of them. I'll call it a small audience online. They maybe follow us. They stay in touch with us when things arise. A lot of designers and architects want to work with us. It's just a matter of getting the time to align and making sure everything works.
What do you think the biggest objection slash hurdle that you have to overcome with some of your clients? Like, what do you think those are?
That's a good question because every client's a little bit different. I mean, some clients, the greatest
Mm-hmm.
hurdle is, letting them, like your last comment, a few comments ago, is let them tell you to take the reins. Trust your design, trust your eye.
Yeah.
That's a great hurdle. A lot of your work speaks for itself, but the people that you work with are, both fascinating and challenging, and there's unique challenges on every job.
So one of the challenges is like allowing you to have your creative vision come through.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, sometimes you'll do.
Yeah.
We just did a huge job locally, and it looks very good. But if the client let us make a couple other calls on things, be one of those ones to be an absolute like front page of the website kind of project.
Sure, sure, sure. After money, because if somebody's coming to you, they're not they're not looking at you and IKEA at all. It's like a completely different world. But they after that, so after they, so you know that they have money, and then you know that they have like creative value. Are there other things within the process of like designing a kitchen that you have to like throughout the build process that you have to like either overcome or sort of massage with a particular client?
There definitely are. Every project, like I say, has their unique traits to it. Being in the community that we're in, I mean, we have a lot of homes here that were built in the 1700s, and when you're
Yeah.
working in those spaces, I mean, everything looks great on paper, but when you get to a house and maybe over an 8 foot span, the floor sinks off 4 inches, or the walls dip out, and
Yeah.
you're trying to fit pieces of furniture in it to make it look correct and keep with the times.
Mhm.
So there's many
Yeah.
unique characteristics to that sort of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah, I'm it's funny. I know that I know Connecticut a little bit, but I just started looking at Litchfield, and a lot of the houses are like 1700s,
Yeah,
which
totally.
kind of tells me too that's probably like a big opportunity for doing new projects as well.
Definitely. I mean, there's definitely a need for homes that, maybe haven't been touched in 100 years. Maybe they have, maybe the last time they were touched was on a budget, so to speak. And, it didn't fit
Yeah.
with the times, which is, that's one cool thing with working with, folks that understand and appreciate the actual value of the historic homes, because I'm not going to say at all they're an open checkbook, because they're not, but they understand and appreciate what it takes to get there to make it look like it's always been there.
If you had your choice, what kind of projects would you do all day?
All day. And I'm gonna say it would be probably shaker kitchens, sort of the English old
Yeah.
world style. We do every now and then a frameless job. I know you referenced IKEA. Every now and then we'll have somebody that says, this was my budget, or this is what I'm comparing you to, and you were, you know, 60% higher than they were, and it's like, you're not really comparing apples to oranges at that point. And those
Yeah.
jobs are definitely, you know, I wouldn't say any job's easy, but they're definitely easier to create.
Did you what have you made any recent investments in the business besides the big CNC that have sort of improved your efficiency?
Inside the business itself. So I went to school for industrial design, and I've always kind of kept that mantra and mentality that if we can make the
Hmm.
process more efficient, or if we can make, the design or the end result. So it's kind of one of those things that where I feel like always innovating. I mean, I'm never settled on, one thing is what it is forever. I mean, you have design and you have elements at work, but I mean, I figured a way to create, finished ends of my cabinetry that are a lot less seams, and you don't see the seams when they're done, but they're a lot less seams when you're creating it. So it saves a ton of time and a ton of finishing time. Everything's finished here in house. So by doing something even
Hmm.
as simple as that, you can save hours and hours on a project, and at the end of the year, those hours, they add up to, being able to take on additional projects.
You seem like you have a lot of fun doing what you do. Is that right?
I do. I have fun. I have fun meeting with clients. I have fun, seeing the process. I love creating something, from with our hands, raw wood, taking an idea on a board, presenting it to the client, going through the process with them, and then they have the finished result where they can stand back and look at it, and they're generally very thrilled, and they're in awe sometimes. I love when they're out there sharing photos, tagging me in it. I love when, you know,
Yeah.
if I'm out there sharing a photo, I'll see their comment on it, or they'll send me a DM and they'll say like, "That was so much fun," or "You guys did so great," and it's just very gratifying to have that experience with the clients. And I'm not saying every job is like that, because let's be realistic, people aren't always like
Yeah.
that, but the majority of
Yeah.
them are. So it's a cool sort of experience.
How outside of work, what do you like to do?
What do you mean outside of work? What else do you do?
How do you unwind?
So that's always a running joke with my local friends. They're like, "Boss, like all you do is work, man. When are we gonna do something fun?" I do
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to. So we do take on some unique things too. So a few years back, I actually redesigned and we retrofitted a trawler boat, the entire interior, the entire exterior. We rebuilt it, we redid it. I mean, the thing came out
Sick.
like, not to my own horn, but it came out well. I was proud of it.
Yeah,
You,
yeah,
you bring it around to different boat yards, you stay on it in the weekends in the summer, try to do a little kiteboarding. And people that see the boat, they're like, man, this is awesome. Like, can you do mine? Can you do mine? My buddies that see it, they're like, Dave, stop building cabinets and let's start doing boats. And I'm like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. I was like, if only it
yeah.
were that easy. But, it's just, there's a
It's
lot of
never
different.
that easy. It's never
No,
that easy.
no. And on top of
Never.
that, I'm building a
No.
house.
It's a
And
new business. You don't need a new business. You got one business
yeah,
already. Yeah.
yeah, that's it. But I got a lot of entrepreneur friends from college. And, they're always like, oh, you could do another. You could do another. It's like, man, it's like I devote so much time and energy and effort to what I do. I understand the
Yeah.
value to having, multiple avenues of money and all that revenue stream. Like, I get it, but it's like what I do is just very demanding, and I'm just trying to maintain a high
Yeah. I mean,
expectation of
you're
quality.
like you literally run a manufacturing business, and there's so many different pieces between like client management and quality control
Yeah,
and employee management and like balancing time with deadlines. Like this is
yeah,
it's a lot, right? I mean,
ton. Yeah, it's a ton.
did you go to RISD? Did you go to
What?
RISD?
I actually went to RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Rochester Institute. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's a good school. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I learned a lot.
There aren't too many places where you could do industrial design near
No,
you, and so
no.
RIT or RISD, there's just like a
Yeah,
couple design focused places.
there's just a few, and I mean, I knew what I wanted to do, which I think was huge all the growing up.
Yeah,
And when I was doing it, when I went to college, everything I did in college, I tailored to what I'm doing now. I mean, I looked at it as like, all right, I'm going to be here for at least 4 years. And while I'm here, I might as well learn and do and see as much as I can before I have people breathing down my neck saying like, hey, your project is due or all. So I took a lot of different courses between manufacturing courses, design, obviously, woodworking courses, business courses, and just try to learn.
you know, there's the fact that you've been doing what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
for so long. You're an anomaly, right?
I sort of understand that. I mean, I kind of get it when people like I'll try and tell them and they look at me like I got three heads. Like there's another, for
No, no, no.
example.
But I'm saying like the idea that a family business can get passed on to a kid
Yeah,
is it's like that. So like people, when I talk to a lot of business owners, they're like, "Oh yeah, I want to build this up and I want to pass this on to my kid."
yeah,
And I heard this stat, and it's like only 2% of businesses succeed
yeah. It's very small.
when they get handed down.
Yeah,
And so for me, I feel like your family won, right? Like because
I think so.
not only did you get to take over this business
Yeah,
and grow it, presumably,
yeah,
but you studied the thing that makes you better in college, and you were excited about spending 4 years learning this thing
totally.
so that you could be better at your family business, which is like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah. No,
most
100%.
generations they want to like be TikTokers. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like
I got you.
they don't.
Yeah, no, I totally got you. I mean, I agree with you in that respect. Totally anomaly. Like that's not me. In middle school, when I was growing up, I was in the business, and I said back then to my dad, I said, look, I work for you all the summers. I work for you on weekends. I work for you when I'm homesick from school. And I said, I don't want a paycheck. I don't need a paycheck. There's nothing I need in life right now. Take my money and just keep it in the business because it's only going to help me down the road in the future. That way, there, when I get to take over things, maybe in that I acquire some more machinery when I'm younger and things like that. I just feel like it gave me such a leg up as far as positioning myself. I know I don't
That's
get me
really, I
wrong.
mean, honestly, it's beautiful. I mean, I know it's probably not easy, right? But I
No,
know that it's like it's beautiful to see, and it's really inspiring. I think in many ways, like I'd love to learn. Is probably something about you, like you yourself, that like somehow what you have done and the way you were raised enabled you to sort of step in. And so I don't know. I mean, what's your vision for your own life and your future? Like, where do you want to be?
all right, I'll answer that one. I give a lot of the my mentality toward my sister and my grandfather.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in the hospital. My sister did, my mom did, my dad did, my
Mhm.
other sister. And I saw a different side of life. I mean, I understand, a bad day in this business is not a bad day. I mean, I know what a bad
Yeah.
day is. I can see it, that helps me get over a lot of hurdles. So I can shake off most
Yeah.
things that hit you in the face. You just bounce back up and you keep moving. So that's given me kind of
Yeah.
that gritty nature, I suppose, to myself. My future, when I was in college, if you asked me that, I would have told you I wanted to have the biggest cabinet manufacturer in Connecticut. That's not true. I don't want to do that. I want to pride myself on quality. I want to build a brand and build a product. They will be there for generations. And when you sell a house, I wanted to say, and it had Amelia Kitchen in it. I wanted to have a lasting name and something that I can really hang my hat on. And long after I'm gone, that it says like, you know what? He didn't waste his life. He didn't do nonsense. He didn't build, pallet furniture. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I did something that, in my view, made a better tomorrow for somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful, man. That's awesome.
Thanks.
And that's really inspiring. That's really, really inspiring. So this is a part of the podcast where I give you any marketing or business advice. Is there anything that you're struggling with that I can give you advice on, or is there anything that you need an extra opinion on or strategy around?
Heck yeah, there is. We could have had a gallon of coffee and spent another couple hours, conveying these ideas. Yeah. I mean, I'm not perfect. There's a lot I could be doing. I mean, one thing, that I always struggle with is being that we do higher end work, try to have very polished, very refined things. I don't share
Yeah.
many photos because I feel like the photo's not good enough. I feel like the work
Mm,
may not be done. So when it comes to like Instagram, because I do get a decent amount of work from there, it's like I only put, projects up or whatever they call it, posts up when I feel the project is pretty near done. And then I got friends that are like, Dave, I know what you do. Like, you should be posting just stories. You should be posting photos. Like, people want to see the process. People care about that. People would pay to watch you work. And it's just like, I don't know. I mean, maybe they would. I don't need a, whole other night job because I already do a lot for, editing video and whatnot on that end of things. But I believe that there probably is value in that. And I don't know if my keywords are always orientated correctly with how people may be trying to best discover me or discover what we do. I mean, there's a lot of, I'm an open book and I'm happy to learn and read and discover.
so the question is, what could you be doing more of marketing wise, or like what do you think, like, the challenge that we're trying to solve, you think?
The challenge that we're trying to solve, I would say, is kind of twofold. And one is an opinion based for you is, I mean, do you think I should be sharing everything or only the polished works? And then it's like, when I do share, even like on Instagram, so to speak, like stories or posts, I may promote a month's worth in a year, or 2 months worth in a year. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? If I just did that every damn week, every damn month, and just kept posting and didn't worry that maybe I'm inundating, my community with content that maybe they're going to get sick of seeing. Like, that's sort of the line.
Yeah. So to me, I think that's kind of where I was going with some of the questions, is that, like, I bet your competition isn't doing any marketing. They're still relying on word of mouth. And
Yeah,
the
the old
kind of the
school.
same thing with you. And so what I would do, honestly, is share 3-4 stories a day about what you're doing. And then
Okay.
what I would do is show work in progress, and then show uh, clients with your work. So, like, share pictures of the finished product with you and your clients in it. So
Okay.
taking advantage of, like, just even on, you get a lot of work from Instagram, right?
I do. I get a lot. At the end of the year, it's, in the six
Okay.
figures for
So
work.
10 people out of 10 clients, how many came from Instagram? Give me that breakdown.
So I'd probably tell you that half of them came from Instagram because I might have gotten 2 or 3 direct DMs from there, and then I might have gotten friends from those people as well that were from Instagram. So I bet you half of them come from there now.
And then the other half are referrals from designers, architects?
Yeah, and word of mouth for us over the years.
And word of mouth because they've known you for a long time, or they know your dad, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to double down on Instagram. That's it. Like there's a correlation between increase of awareness and traffic and how many times you post. So I would
Okay.
aim for, I mean, if your last post was let's see, your last post was, wow,
Not good.
December 23rd,
Yeah.
December
Not good. Yeah.
21st. That's not
Yeah.
good.
No.
You must not like money. You must not like money. That's probably the So, I mean, here's the thing. It's like you were doing beautiful work all the time. Like all the
Yeah.
time. And behind you, there's somebody working, right? That's a conversation piece. That's like there kind of needs to be, I'm going to go deep. I'm going to go deep. I'm going to go deep for you.
Dig it deep.
The name of the business is named after somebody so important to you in your life. You need to do the name and the quality of your work and your craftsmanship. You need to give it the platform that it deserves. And so nobody's going to know about, like, again, I feel like I say this all the time. The only way 40 years ago that anybody knew about anything about what you would have done is if you had a store on Main Street, or you had 3 people that referred all of the business to you, has been in the shadows of building, period. Right? Isn't that right?
Totally.
It's always been behind the scenes. And now you have the position to literally own the market and own cabinet making in your part of the world. And the best way for you to do that is to literally tell more stories. So what I would do, honestly, is like I would optimize your bio, and then I would just like post recent. I mean, you could probably go back to your old post,
Yeah.
and just make them videos. Like, you actually just need to post more videos.
Okay.
And then tell more stories. Because if people are literally contacting you because of pictures, they want to see you. They want to see the team. They want to see all of the things behind. And I know that your end product is about perfection, but how you get there doesn't have to be, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I guess my point is that, like, if you're going to take more risk on anything, take more risk telling your story.
Okay.
I want to say, I mean, look, my daughter's name is Amelia. It's close to Amelia. I know Amelia meant somebody. It was named after somebody. And that's why I asked that question. Your clients and your potential clients, they literally want to know, what does that name come from?
Okay.
And then, dude, if you want to take it a step further, donate a percentage of your profits to, rare autoimmune and, bone marrow stuff, right? Like, literally, you can tie the whole thing together.
Yeah.
And honor her name, honor the family legacy, and go even bigger.
Yeah. No, it's a good idea. I did used to donate to the hospital often, and I also used to do a toy drive every year. And I mean, it unfortunately had to stop because of COVID, but I'm hoping to pick that back up.
I want to see that. Listen, I want to see that. That's not, that's not selfish, right? That's not, I mean, that's not like bragging. It's, but here it is. I'll tell you.
Okay.
So I ran a nonprofit for a very long time, and I used to feel like, people don't want to hear about me doing good and blah blah blah. And one of the things that I learned was, by me doing good, it inspired others to do good as well. Because there's something that's driving you that's even bigger. That's like when I asked you, I was like, oh, there's probably something about you that made you who you are today. What's the first thing you said?
System.
Exactly, dude. That's why you're in business.
Yeah.
That's why you are in business. That's how you have a brand. That's why you have a brand. That's what's going to make you better than XYZ cabinet company down the block. You want to get to the point in a nice way where you're eating everybody's lunch and you are putting out the best product and you're building it. Maybe you're building this company for your great grandkids if you wanted to, but you have options. And the best way for you to do that is to build the best doggone brand that you could possibly have.
By pushing the story, pushing Amelia.
Pushing everything. You, your dad, your sister, your team, that's the 5 people that are behind you. Like everything. Your community, the best pizza shop, the best, like everything.
Yeah.
Dominate everything. You know what I mean? Tell more stories than everybody. I mean, because you grew up in your town, right?
I did, yeah. Yep.
Bro, you want to get to a point where people think that you're the mayor. You want to get to the point where you're walking down the block and people are like, oh, Amelia. They see the Amelia cabinet hoodie, and that's the first thing that I would do is like literally put her name on a hoodie and give it to everybody and just take pictures.
Should I? I mean, people always ask me, they're like, yo, can I get a sweatshirt? Can I get a shirt? And I'm like,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Own it.
Hey, question for you. What if I put a T-shirt up online and I do a donation with it? And I said, you donate, buy all these T-shirts, and I'll donate every bit of the proceeds to whatever.
Here's what I would do beforehand, because I actually like your logo. I like your logo. I like the font of Amelia. I think it's like super refined. It's like it's really cool.
Thanks, man.
And so for me, I'm thinking that on a hoodie, and you make it so cool that people are asking for it. Don't push it down people's throat. Put it on a hoodie and like make the best quality hoodie. Make the hoodie, get an obnoxiously thick hoodie. Like you see your vest right there?
Yeah.
Get one of those with Amelia put on it. Get one of the Patagonia ones with an Amelia on it. Right? Like just overbrand yourself.
Okay. All right.
That's what overbrand yourself, and then and tell more stories. That's what I would do.
Tell more stories. Okay.
Just tell more stories. You got stories, man. You got because here's the thing. I bet you if you told more stories, you would convert way more. Because when you send out a quote, and you're going through the process. This is the design. This is the timeline. This is the price.
Yeah.
I mean, look, imagine if you said, this is the story behind Amelia. This is my family. This is the mission, the vision, the values. And then we donate a percentage to to this cause. And every year we do a toy drive to benefit kids that are in the hospital. What percentage of deals do you think you'd close?
Quite a few, I would say, without question. Yeah.
9. I mean, like, what if you send out 10 quotes right now, how many are you closing?
I'm probably closing 9, and the last one's probably coming in a couple days.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So like you would close a lot more, and then your team, your community would be so much more invigorated.
Yeah.
Because there's a cause behind it. There's a mission and there's a name behind. That's what I'm trying to get people to really lean into their story and to like not shy away from being themselves, right? Like, and it's kind of one of the reasons why like I have these podcast interviews. So it's like I want to hear the stories behind the work.
Yeah.
And then in turn, your customers want to hear the story behind the people making their work. Like, why do you think like the farm to table movement is so big and people want to know locally sourced things? They want to have a connection to the people as opposed to it being made in like a factory that's sent on a shipping container. You know what I mean? And so,
I know what you mean.
And your work is beautiful. It needs stories. So
thank you.
Anyway, was that helpful?
It's totally helpful. Now I just got a question for you. When we're talking about stories and maybe making it more personal and whatnot, do I make it a unique sort of a post, or do I tie it in with things that I'm working on, or like how do you sort of integrate the two of them?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, both. I mean, here's what I mean, the first thing that I would do is just, I would probably make like a welcome post that
Okay.
says, "Hey, I haven't introduced myself in a while, but I'm David, and I'm the founder owner of Amelia, uh, you know, cabinet company, and here's our story." And then you just tell the story, right? Like, it could be in the captions, it could be the video, right? It could be your voice with
Yeah.
some B-roll, like, you know what I mean? There's a way to do it that you can feel more authentic, and a part of it too is it probably feels a little uncomfortable to talk about yourself, and it also, because you want your work to speak for itself, and nor do
Exactly.
you want to feel like you're exploiting your sister,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
And that probably, your family probably feels a certain way around that as well, right? Because it's not just you, it's
Right.
it's your family as well. And
Right.
so, but I would frame it like, hey, I just have a bigger vision for this company, and you know there could be a world where there's a barbecue in her name, and and you have all of your clients that you've ever worked with there, and you raise money, and you know what I mean, there's just like
Yeah.
a connection to a community that you could be forming more of. And I think in the long run, you're going to get so much more business, and you're going to feel more aligned with what you do
Yeah.
on a daily basis. It'll feel like a purpose. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense, and it's kind of that missing connection, I suppose, for me, where made the bridge, was that I never really wanted to use what my sister and family went through is kind of like a means of getting money in any form for, and I always
Mm-hmm.
put my head down and work hard and let the work speak for itself. But I think you're right. I think there's a real value to that, and because when I'm meeting with clients, and sometimes they'll say like, what's Amelia? And when I explain it to them, I mean, these people are basically handing me a check right then and there, saying like, I want to work with you. I mean, I want you, I want your product, and we love you, we love your family, and it's just one of those things.
Exactly.
Yeah, I never felt comfortable advertising, but I suppose if it were done
You never felt
tastefully,
comfortable advertising.
if it were done
I have
tastefully,
a, I know, and I have a mentor. I have a mentor, an old mentor of mine. He always says, and it sounds messed up to say, but I don't want it to. It's kind of like
no, it's all
play
good.
every ace, right?
Gotcha.
It's like play every ace, right?
Yeah,
Like, you have a differentiator.
yeah,
It's kind of like,
I know. Use it.
and I'm saying this. I'm saying this for like the audience as well. It's like, there's a reason why people pick certain political candidates, and candidates exploit that, right?
Right.
So, but then they play off it. There's a difference between reason why people pick Nike versus Under Armour, because there's a story behind there, and you can tell the difference between somebody that likes Nike and somebody that likes Under Armour, right?
Yeah.
And it's because of their unique value or their brand characteristics. All I'm telling you and this audience that's listening is that your unique characteristic is the thing that's going to differentiate yourself.
Gotcha.
Sure, everybody can produce quality kitchen cabinets.
Right.
Everybody's got access to the same tools,
Right.
the same finish, the same everything.
Yep. I gotcha. But they
What's
don't.
the difference
Me.
is the brand,
Yeah. Yep. The story behind it is what it is. It's what it
the
makes it to be.
story behind it.
Yeah.
The story behind it. That's but that's what makes companies last way longer than the ones that haven't been around, that go out of business,
Yeah.
is because they have a story.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why, I don't want to feel like I'm beating this over your head. I'm like, dude,
No,
you
it's all
gotta,
good.
like, I mean, I lost my father a couple years ago, and so like
I'm
I've been
sorry.
thinking of ways to honor him.
Right.
And you know I don't have a business that I would name after him, but like, if you're honoring that person and you're showing up every day,
Yeah.
like, yeah, let's make it big. Let's make it so that people are saying her name for forever. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm sorry for your loss, but I do understand where you're coming from. It's a way of
Yeah.
keeping them alive with you. You know.
keeping them alive with you. And so for me, I'm like, yeah, dude, over brand it. I like that font Amelia on a hoodie would be. It looks like the way it looks. It looks like a streetwear fashion brand.
You know, my wife and I all the time say, how cool would that logo be, like plastered all over like a hoodie or something, or sweatshirt, whatever it be. It looked like
yeah. It looks really good. It looks really, really good.
Thank you.
So for me, I'm like, I mean, you could probably get like a gray hoodie or a white hoodie with like, you know, Amelia right there, and then like, you know, the Amelia Cabinet Company and big on the back. Like that would be really cool. Anyway,
I'm gonna send you one first.
Yeah. You can tell I have fun with this stuff, right? So no, I love this stuff. Cool, man. All right, so tell everybody what's your website.
So we're at Amelia.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. It was great. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
You too. I appreciate the time and the insights, and had a great time with you.